vongola boss is back in Los Santos. If you guys are looking for a crew, join the vongola family. Just search it at social club, and the one with the most members, that's probably my group. But you know, I'm just gonna sit down right now, maybe watch a little television, see what we got.
Well, handsome, what are we waiting for?
If you want to get to know a character, learn about their interests, goals, or desires, their butt is probably not going to give you that information. It won't tell you much about who they are or what they're thinking or feeling at any given time.
Okay.
But video game designers often choose to put tremendous focus on the butts of certain characters while going to almost absurd lengths to avoid calling attention to the butts of others.
You realize that you're using a stealth character from Chicago, right? Just checking in, that's all.
These carefully crafted choices developers make about camera angles and clothing significantly impact how players think about and relate to these characters.
Really? So the development, the story, all that crap doesn't do anything. It's just the way they are clothed. Just that. Just that clothing just says everything.
Third-person games with female protagonists typically display those characters in a way that gives players a full-body view. A classic example of this is the original Tomb Raider games, which are presented from a third-person perspective wherein protagonist Lara Croft's entire body is visible. In these early Tomb Raider games, Lara's butt is typically right in the center of the screen, a camera orientation which, along with the sexualized clothing the designers choose to outfit her in, places a tremendous amount of emphasis on that part of her body.
Okay, there's just so much wrong with that, what you just said there. First of all, the camera view. Back then, I don't know when this game came out, but it's like 20 years or so, maybe more. That was like the perfect camera angle you could get for a game like this. Remember, they were just starting to do this. And, well, it's not the butt that's in the middle of the screen, it's her whole body that's basically in the middle of the screen. And as a question, what is basically the middle point of your body? Yeah, that would be your ass, would it not be? Just saying. And about the clothing, Anita, you're too obsessed. That's the problem. You're just too obsessed with butts and female sexuality. Because what she's wearing in the game that you're showing right now, yeah, Lara Croft is supposed to be a sexy lady, but she's wearing more like an adventurous outfit. Short shorts, okay? Is that like something that a girl doesn't wear, or what? And Anita, I can already tell you nobody is playing this game. Even back then, nobody was playing this game and basically being like, oh, that's a nice ass. Let me focus on the ass instead of the game. That's what I want to look at. The whole game. I don't want to play the game. I just want to come in, put in Tomb Raider, and watch that ass. Do you know how stupid that sounds, Anita? We're barely 1 minute in the video.
Dozens of third-person games with playable female characters, the character's butt is brought to the forefront, and that's where the player's focus is directed. In Batman Arkham City, for instance, the player's gaze is drawn to Catwoman's behind, which is emphasized by her costume and exaggerated hip sway.
Oh my God. Did she just... No, she didn't say that. She did not say that. Anita, it's Catwoman. Do you know what Catwoman is? Do you know who she is? She's created to be like a cat. You know, and cats, you know, women that are like cats basically are, I don't know, seductive, flirty, and walks like a cat. Have you ever? Well, I guess I can understand. I'm not the type to look at a cat's behind, but they kind of sway their hips like that. You know, and while she's jumping like, I don't know, a cat? Come on, Anita. I mean, yeah. Let's just continue the video.
The ceremony! The Sisterhood will never forgive me if I am late.
Golden Axe Beast Rider makes extremely sure that we notice the protagonist's butt just before we take control and start playing. And here in Tomb Raider Underworld, to say that Lara's butt is being emphasized would be putting it mildly.
Incredible. The carvings are clearly similar to early Germanic design, but this is far older than the 5th century.
Okay, Anita, seriously. Are you just really obsessed with butts? Or with female sexuality? Or with sexy women? Because, first of all, that first clip you show, that's alright, they do kind of focus on the butt. I'll agree with that. But what kind of character is she? I haven't played the game, but from what I can see, she's sort of like a barbarian. Have you ever seen a movie called, I don't know, Conan the Barbarian? If you put those same clothes on a woman, you would say that she's being objectified. Do you understand how stupid that is? And with the Tomb Raider, the first Lara Croft clip you show, is basically you doing this. Oh yeah, look at that ass. Yeah. That's what you're doing. No actual gamer keeps doing that when they're playing the game. I mean, sure, you have those horny teenagers, which most of the games are actually directed to, you know, and that's a marketing problem. That's not a gaming problem. However, most gamers aren't looking around at people's butts. You know what they're doing? They're actually playing the game. If you keep your focus on a female ass, you won't be able to play the game. You'll miss everything in the game. And that's how I know that you're not a real gamer. Anita, stop being so obsessed. You know, like that other clip where Lara Croft just walks into a cave. I had to watch that 2 times. You know what I was focusing on the first time? You know, probably what actual gamers focus on? The background. Yeah, she was walking into a cave. That's what I was looking at. Whoa, look at that cave. Where is she now? What is she doing? You know? And that's the biggest problem that I have. The women that you're using would actually be better feminists than you are, because first of all, they basically don't need men. Like Catwoman, she basically does what she wants. Well, all those women pretty much, they're strong women. They're not afraid of their sexuality. They're not obsessed over it like you feminists are. So those characters that you're criticizing are actually better at being a feminist than you are. What is that telling you, Anita? Please stop being so obsessed. Some women are sexy. Heck, you are sexy. I know, probably because I just said that it's I don't know, misogyny and stuff like that. I'm being a sexist for calling her. Well, yeah, I'll say it. She's beautiful. I probably would never date her because, oh my God, I want to last 1 week with her. But my point is, the only people that are so obsessed with the female sexuality are these feminists. Well, feminist is something to let women be proud of their sexuality, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm not a feminist. But yeah, let's just continue.
This happens all too often.
You can't miss it.
Okay, some of these games are directed to who? Teenage horny dudes. And you're only taking a few games. You even have to put some of your own clips where you're the one that turning the camera like that. There is even a clip that one I think that game was called Wet. I haven't played that game in like years. Are you telling me that game is focusing on that character's butt? Have you even played that game? That's basically just a female Max Payne. and she's dressed up. I mean, oh, Anita. Now your obsession is going where it's not even supposed to be.
Let's contrast the way that women's butts are emphasized with the sometimes absurd lengths taken to cover up or hide men's butts.
Again, you're using a stealth character that's supposed to be dressed kind of like a monk. Anita. Stop it. At least be fair, you know, at least use a Nathan Drake or something.
If some of this footage looks jerky, that's because in some games, trying to get a glimpse of male characters' butts can feel a bit like wrestling with the camera. Common ways men's butts are hidden are by preventing the player from seeing below the character's waistline, or employing a more over-the-shoulder camera angle, which has the added benefit of keeping the character's butt safely out of the frame. The most amusing solution is to simply include a cape, tunic, long coat, or very conveniently positioned piece of tattered fabric, which actively prevents the player from getting a clear or sustained look at the protagonist's butt.
Hold on. So what you're saying is that people don't want to look at least people that play games don't want to look at guys' butts? That makes sense because most of the people, at least the people that they're targeting, are teenage, well, also adults, but mostly, let's be honest, teenage boys who are horny, who really would not care if a dude's, they basically don't even care if a woman's butt is in focus. But first of all, you're acting like there's this whole conspiracy to keep men's butts, covered. What? Do you know why so many characters have long coats? That even my character here have some, well, it's kind of a long coat. You wanna know why, Anita? Because it's cool. That's what they do with characters. They try to make them look cool. Alright? I mean, there are plenty of characters where it's just a guy wearing pants. But here's the thing, I don't think these feminists understand, at least Anita doesn't understand it. Women's bodies and men's bodies, they're different. Alright? Generally, women have, well, they have larger hips, they have breasts. So if you put the same pants on a woman, it might look sexier than if a man's wearing it. And don't give me that shit that you can't see butts in men characters, because there are plenty of them. Just play a superhero. Yeah, just play a superhero game. Butts in galore. Play I don't know, a Fallout game. You can dress your character the way you want. It's not like they're trying to give the men's clothing like something that reveals the butt. Come on, Anita, there's no conspiracy going on to cover dudes' butts, alright? These few cases that you have of women being sexy, well, guess what? A sexy woman can also be a strong woman. But here's the thing, when you see a sexy woman, all that other stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she's not being oppressed, that she's strong, that she can do whatever she wants, that there's no man that can keep her down. All that thrown out the door. She's sexy and she shows her butt and she moves like a cat. It's sexism. It's misogyny. Misogyny. Yeah, I'm not from an English-speaking country, alright? But let's move on, because this video is getting too long.
For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs. I like to joke.
How many times am I gonna facepalm? Anita, do you know who Batman is? Do you know about the character of Batman? Batman. His character has a cape. Okay, it has a cape. That's his character. You want to see Buzz go play, I don't know, that DC fighting game, Injustice? Go watch The Flash's butt or something. You know, go play, I don't know, DC Universe. There are plenty of superheroes that don't have capes. But you're the one superhero that you use is the one that always has had a goddamn, oh man, why did I want to do this video? I said I was gonna stop. Oh my god.
Jokingly refer to this aspect of a male character's costume as the strategic butt covering.
And again, now you're using 3 characters that are supposed to be stealth. You know, that cape hides you in the shadows. You know? That, you know, I'm not even gonna...
Of course, not all games with male protagonists keep the character's butt obscured or out of frame like these games do. The real issue is one of emphasis and definition. A significant portion of third-person games with female protagonists call attention to those characters' butts in a way that's meant to be sexually appealing to the presumed straight male player.
Again, Anita, women's bodies aren't the same as men's bodies. Most women have wider hips. If you put jeans on a woman, it's gonna look different than when you put it on a man. The only one that's being obsessive about that is you. Okay? You. Nobody else is being obsessive about this. Damn it. Why did I do this?
In this regard, the way that women's bodies are depicted is significantly different from the way that men's bodies are depicted.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because men's bodies generally aren't the same as women's bodies. You know, many women have a sexier walk than a man. Because when a man does it, you know, he's feminine or whatever. Are you like not living in real reality, Anita? Are you like discarding everything that happens in real life? You know, it's just like that GTA video where you said people can use prostitutes. Are you... Come back to the real life, Anita. Leave the video games alone. It's not for you. You can't handle it. You can't handle the truth.
There are a few examples of male protagonists who are wearing clothing that calls attention to their butts, but for the most part, men's butts, even when visible in the frame, are de-emphasized. Plenty of male heroes wear baggy pants or jeans, Uncharted's Nathan Drake among them, but nothing about his visual design or the jeans he's wearing encourages you to focus on his butt as some sort of defining aspect of his character.
Again, men and women, different bodies, and not only that, I forgot one important point. Women generally wear different types of clothing. Women that like wearing jeans, they don't like wearing baggy jeans. Do you understand that, Anita? Most women don't like that. I doubt even you like that. Because I've never seen you in baggy jeans. I bet if I see you walking down the street, you'll probably have a nice ass and showing it. Unless you like wear dresses and all that, but I don't think you're the type for a dress or a burqa. I don't know you personally, but I'm pretty good at reading people. But either way, women and men, different kind of bodies, they wear different types of clothing. Generally, women wearing jeans, they actually want to show their bodies. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a sexy body, flaunt it, as long as you're comfortable with doing it, as long as nobody is forcing you to do it. Come back to the real world, Anita. This gaming shit is not for you.
By contrast, this emphasis on the butts of female characters communicates to players that this is what's important. This is what you should be paying attention to.
No, it doesn't. Seriously, Anita, I mean, it's already clear that you've never really been a gamer. You've said that with your own mouth. But seriously, Anita, next time you pick up a game, play the game. Don't focus on a character's assets. Just play the game. Play the story. Without being so obsessed, because seriously, you're more obsessed than these teenage horny little dudes that play these games that maybe stare at their butts for 1 minute and then go on and play the game.
It communicates that the character is a sexual object designed for players to look at and enjoy. And by explicitly encouraging you to ogle and objectify the character, the game is implicitly discouraging you from identifying directly with her.
Yeah, you know how you can fix that quite easy? By playing the fucking game.
Strategic butt coverings and camera angles that obscure characters' rear ends are not an accident. They are a conscious decision made with great care, and the flip side of this is that designers often do the opposite when the protagonist is female. This difference in how male and female characters are framed often extends into the advertisements and box covers.
Again, Anita, this is a marketing problem, not a gaming problem. Do you know that the developers of those games usually aren't the ones that are making those images? They're not the ones, they're just making the game. And if the game has a sexy female, and if the game is focused on teenage boys, you know, even older men, adults, let me put it like that, guess what marketing does? You know, they're not gonna put some guy's ass on the front of that shit so that teenage boys will buy it. No, they're not. Because guess what? Teenage boys, they like looking at the female body. And the female body is a beautiful thing to look at. Guess what? Teenage females, most of them don't really want to look at a guy's ass. Most of them want to see something, I don't know, something cute, or I don't know, a handsome guy, I guess, but I doubt that any of them are looking, I want to see the ass. But a teenage boy, well, yeah, I can't tell you to understand what a teenage mind thinks about, because I doubt that you even know what a teenage woman mind goes through, but, well, teenage woman, teenage girl, whatever. But Anita, this is a marketing problem. Go after the marketing. These game developers, they're just making a game. Simple as that. And if you're too obsessed because some of those games have sexy females in them, then the problem isn't with that game, the problem is with you. Now sure, there are games like that Lollipop game, I never played it, but yeah, that is actually even making fun of itself by being, well, I don't know, sexy, I guess. You know? Actually, if you play that, I mean, I haven't played the game, but I've seen a couple of reviews. That game is making fun of itself by being so sexy. It's not taking itself serious. And neither should you. But, well, you're too obsessed with the female sexuality that I doubt you can let it go.
Women's butts are front and center, and it's even become a depressing joke that their bodies are twisted and contorted in uncomfortable or unnatural ways so that their breasts and butt can be visible in the same shot.
Anita, have you ever been on Facebook? I bet you're on Facebook. Go look what most of these girls look like when they're taking pictures. Nobody's forcing them to take the pictures that way. But guess what most of them look like? Yup, exactly the way that you just showed it. Why aren't you going after that? Why? Oh yeah, because those girls know that that's what men like looking at. They're not ashamed of it. And again, going back to what I said before, this is a marketing problem. These game developers aren't the ones that are making those images. Alright, they're just making a badass game. And you're completely throwing away all the work that they're doing and making a fantastic game simply because you're obsessed with sexiness. And I don't understand. You're not even an ugly lady. To be honest, I doubt that you even believe half the shit you say. I think that Macintosh guy is feeding you all kinds of bullshit and you're just trying to stay relevant.
In contrast, when men are depicted from behind, there's great effort taken to cover up their rear end.
No, they're not trying to cover up their rear end. They're trying to make it look cool. Cool and sexy sells. Okay? Cool and sexiness. Alright? If these games were focused on a female audience, it would not be looking like this. Okay? And that's something that there are a lot of females in gaming, but let's face it, the majority aren't.
often with other images or shadows. Of course, female characters can also be framed in ways that aren't objectifying. A good example of this is the episodic adventure game Life is Strange, in which the protagonist's butt isn't emphasized or centralized. The camera angles work in conjunction with the story to encourage us to identify with her as a human being.
I'm not even gonna. I'm not even going to.
Sadly, the box art for the third-person action-adventure game Beyond Good and Evil emphasizes and sexualizes Jade's butt. The game itself, however, demonstrates that the Nathan Drake approach of outfitting a character in clothing that doesn't emphasize their butt and not having the camera center it or focus on it can work just as well to humanize female characters as it does for male characters.
First of all, you can't compare this camera angle with a game that was like 10 years or even more years older than that one. Again, back then, that camera angle that you had was simply focused on the back of a character's body. It wasn't focused on the butt, it was focused on the back of a character's body. And one more thing, I mean, alright, we have a girl that's wearing baggy pants, you know, an adventurous girl. But I don't really see that much different with that Tomb Raider clip you showed where she's wearing jeans. That's why I'm saying that you're really obsessed with the female sexuality. Because for me as a man to not see that much difference, yeah, there's a slight difference. You know, that the Lara Croft one, she was wearing tighter jeans. But that was simply a style. This is another style of girls that like to be more adventurous, you know, more like a tomboy. Lara Croft is not really a tomboy. She could be kind of classified as one, but she's not really a tomboy. You can't go compare. That's like comparing apples and oranges. Comparing a model to a MMA fighter. Well, that's not a good one. MMA fighters, they're getting quite sexy. Rusi for the win. But yeah, I'm just saying, you can't be comparing those two. Just like you compared Lara Croft with Altair or Batman. It doesn't make sense, Anita. It doesn't make sense. But like I said, I doubt you believe most of the shit that you're saying.
So to be clear, the solution here is not to simply show more butts of male characters. Equal opportunity butt display is definitely not the answer. Rather, the solution is to de-emphasize the rear ends of female characters so that players are encouraged not to ogle and objectify these women, but to identify and empathize with them as people.
Yeah, guess what, Anita? They already do. They already do. You are the one that's not doing that. You are the one that's looking at a character and only seeing sexy, only seeing the butt. Missing the entire game, the entire development of that character, missing everything just because the character is sexy. That's you, Anita. That's people like you. People that don't really play games. Because like I said, anyone that actually play games, they don't spend that much time looking at a character's butt. Yeah, you have horny people. Heck, even I myself, sometimes I'm playing a game and there's a character with a nice ass. I might look for a couple of seconds, be like, whoa, that's pretty nice. Now let me go continue on with this game. That's how most gamers think. Anita, stop being so obsessed.
This is not an impossible task, given that game designers do this all the time with their male characters. It's time they started consistently doing it with their female characters too.
You mean like basically all the female characters that you were using? Lara Croft is one of the most developed, well, I wouldn't say the most developed, but she is a very developed character. Even those old games, not even counting the last two where they rebooted it. Like I said, Lara Croft, Catwoman, all the female characters that you're using, they would be better feminists than you are. But how would you know if you don't even care to look at their stories, their development, to actually play the game? Seriously, Anita, play the game or don't play at all. But you really aren't in a position to be talking about games. And that's why you're having so much backlash. And that's why you're not able to make all those videos that you promised, because I think you're starting to realize how wrong you were. And being at a position that you are now, I guess it's either one of two things. Either you're simply a scam artist and you just want more money. You and that Macintosh guy. That Macintosh guy, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. But you, on the other hand, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, because I'm thinking it's either that, or you're just so far up in your own bullshit that it's hard to let go, and I can understand that. You know, you've made a name of yourself simply by criticizing games. You were wrong on multiple occasions, most of the occasions, but you've made a name for yourself. And to come out and say, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong, yeah, it's hard, but do it. Because, like I said, you've made a name. You can use that name. Guess what you should do, Anita? Stop making these feminist videos. Stop being a feminist, because I'm sorry, but you're bad at it. I'm sorry, but you're bad at it. And don't take it personal. Most feminists these days are really bad at being a feminist, because they don't want equality. That's clear. Like, clear as crystal. They don't want equality. So stop with this whole feminist bullshit. Just stop it. Get out of, kick that Macintosh away, because seriously, that guy's not good for you. You know, I'm not gonna talk about your relationships, although I doubt that you've ever been in a really meaningful one. But that aside, you know, don't even think about that. What you should do is find a couple of people, females preferably, and create a badass game. And I mean create a badass game, not some like that stupid shit with that pixels that you were talking about walking through the scheme. No, create the women that you want to see in games. Give her the story that you want to see, and bring that game forward. You know, and you're gonna see that there are still gonna be people that are gonna look at the character and say, hey, she's pretty, she's fine. You know, boys don't really need like a half-naked woman to feel attracted to them. You know, it goes a lot further than that. So that's my advice to you, Anita. And I'm being generally right now. You know, because I know many people hate you. I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all. I actually kind of like you. Not in that way, but I kind of like you. I think you're deep down, when you started off, maybe you were a little bit misguided. Use all that energy, all that time, all that money, and put it into something good. Trust me, the people that follow you, they'll understand. People, they give people that have a name a pass really easy, especially if they actually are doing something. So please, Anita, stop the bullshit. Just stop it.